All right, everyone, here we are back from Thanksgiving vacation. So I've got another list for you. This one is the CovrPrice Top 10 list from December 2nd, 2024, and they're standing on the CBCS population report. There really is not a lot to report on the CBCS population report, so I'm going to give you the CovrPrice statistics on sales that they're going by. So number 10 on the CovrPrice top 10 list for December 2nd, 2024 is DC All-In Special, the Daniel Samphire regular wraparound cover, which there are currently 4 9.8 yellow labels on the CBCS population report. So the sales that CovrPrice is using, it had a weekly top sale of a CGC 9.8 for $65. Weekly units that have sold is 43, and there's been an increase in sales of 110%, with the most common raw being a near mint for $9, and most common slabbed is $71 for a 9.8. So then we move on to the number 9 comic, which is Mark Spears' Monsters number 2, the cover C, Creature from the Black Lagoon cover. There are currently none on the CBCS population report, and the CovrPrice sales data says the top weekly sale was a $30 for a near mint copy. Weekly units sold, there's been 38. Growth is 8%. The most common raw is a near mint at $14, and there have been no slab sales, so nothing to report there. Then we move on to the number 8 spot, which is Absolute Batman number 1, the Nick Dragotta third print ink cover, which is a 1 in 25, and there are none on the CBCS population report. The sales data, weekly top sale was a near mint at $50. There have been 22 units of this sold with a growth rate of 39%. Most common raw is a near mint at $41, with a most common slab that was a 9.8 sold for $96. So that's the number 8 spot. Absolute Batman number 1, third print. Next, we move on to the number 7 spot, which is Mark Spears' Monsters number 1, cover A, the Looking Down on You cover. So there are none of this book on the CBCS population report. The sales data, weekly top sale was a CGC 9.8 for $280. There have been 7 of these sold in the last week with a growth rate of 81%. Most common raw is a near mint plus at $100, and the most common slab is a 9.8 at $185. So then we move to the number 6 spot, which is Mark Spears' Monsters number 1, the cover E Bridezilla cover. There currently is one 9.8 blue label on the CBCS population report. The current sales data, the weekly top sale of a CGC 9.8 came in at $430. This week, there's been a total of 6 of these sold with a growth rate of 7%. The most common raw is a near mint plus for $213. The most common slab was a 9.8 for $430. So that is halfway through the list. So at this point, I want to take time to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for staying with the video. I do hope you really are enjoying it. So once again, thank you very much. And now we'll move on to that number 5 spot, which is Mark Spears Monsters number 2, the Bird City Comics second print Wicked Witch, which has been limited to 200 copies. So none on the CBCS population report. So the current sales data, the top weekly sale was a near mint at $65. This week there have been 20 of these sold with a growth rate of 100%. The most common raw is a near mint at $65, and there are no slab sales as of yet. So then we move. Number 4, coming in at number 4, Venom 35, the Carlos E. Gomez 4 Shadow variant. So currently none on the CBCS population report. So the sales data, the top weekly sale was a CGC 9.8 at $62. There were 25 of these sold this week with a growth rate of 43%. The most common raw was a near mint at $16, and the most common slab was a 9.8 at $81. So then, moving on to the number 3 spot, a repeat offender in the top 10 list, which is Absolute Batman number 1, the Nick Dragotta regular cover, which there is currently one yellow label 9.8 out there. But the sales data is the top weekly sale was a CGC 9.8 at $150. This week, 68 of these have been sold for a growth rate of 17%. Most common raw, you got a near mint at $68, and the most common slab was a 9.8 at $108. Then we're moving into the number 2 spot, which is Venom number 5, the Iban Caillo regular cover, which there are currently none on the CBCS population report, but the sales data. Top weekly sale was a near mint for $20. This week there have been 38 of these sold for a growth rate of 349%. Probably see this one continue to go with the all new Venom just out. The most common raw was a near mint for $9, and the most common slab was a 9.8 for $58. So here we go now with the number 1 book from the CovrPrice Top 10 list for December 2nd, 2024, and that is Mark Spears Monsters number 2, the Ultimate Comics Amazing Spider-Man 601 homage cover, which there are none on the CBCS population report. But sales data, the top weekly sale was a near mint for $60. There's been 67 of these sold this week. 67 with a growth rate of 44%. Most common raw was a near mint for $52, and there are currently no slab sales. So that is your CovrPrice Top 10 list for December 2nd, 2024. I want to say thank you for joining me again. We'll see everybody next time. Bye-bye.